Welcome to Healthy Living. I'm your host, Margot Marshall. Because there's so much de-skilling in Australia, thanks to takeaways, frozen meals and packet meals, some people grow up never having so much as cut up a fruit salad. How refreshing to see each of the 3 children in the Ramirez family assisting their mother to prepare the family meals. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Mexican cooking class of the Ramirez family. It's a pleasure to be here, and we're going to be showing you a very good, tasty recipe, so make sure you have your pen and paper ready. With me today, I have my beautiful wife, Susan.
Hello.
And my beautiful daughter, Talita.
Hi.
Which will be helping to make this recipe a reality. So the recipe that we have, it's called pico de gallo. Pico de gallo means the beak of a rooster. There's many theories where this name came from. One of them say that it has to do with the chili, because a chili has like the beak of a rooster. Some say that's the origin of this. Some other people say that it's called pico de gallo because you eat it like a rooster with your fingers. You pick things on this recipe. And another name of this recipe, it's called the salsa of the flag. And that's because if you notice the recipes, the ingredients that we're going to be using, the Mexican flag has green, white, and red. And this recipe also is going to have elements that are green, white, and red. So in order to make this recipe, we need to have fresh ingredients. That's one of the secrets of this recipe. If you can just freshly chop them off and have them ready, that's going to be the best thing. So Susan, tell us what are going to be the different ingredients to be used.
Okay, great. So first we have our red tomatoes, we have our white onion, we have our green chili pepper, and we have our green cilantro, along with some lime juice, a little bit of salt to taste, a pinch of oregano, and we serve this with chips.
This is a very flexible recipe. You can have it in a little dish together with some chips. You can put this over your beans. You can make a burrito and put it inside of it. So it's a nice, flexible recipe, easy to do and fast. So let us get busy. Let's see how we do this.
All right, Talitha, you think this is going to be hard?
No.
Okay, go ahead and put that in. You can put it in and I'll...
And this is one of the keys of Mexican food, is that it is fresh. So now we're putting the chilies.
We have the tomatoes and the
You can put as much as you want, a little bit just to keep taste, not so that it's spicy.
And the lime juice.
Lime juice will bring antioxidants, and that will keep actually this salsa nice and fresh. It will actually stop to a certain process, the oxidation process.
And just a pinch of oregano. All right, Talitha, I think the only thing left to do there is to stir.
Yeah.
So you want to mix those ingredients nicely so that they're evenly distributed.
And you can see the colors of the Mexican flag there. You know, in a lot of Mexican households, the mother of the house goes to the market every day because she wants to have the best fresh ingredients in her food. So it works best just to go to the market every day. And it's nice to go and get your tomatoes and your cilantro and your onions, some basic things in the Mexican household for cooking. And then that's all you have for this recipe, except for to enjoy it.
That's right, and just some chips, and you can actually dip them there and enjoy them. I'm sure you're gonna love this simple recipe. Now we're gonna talk about a very important recipe, especially if you're single. They say in Mexico that you are not fit to get married unless you know how to cook this dish. This dish is called chilaquiles. And we'll be having a very useful helper. What is your name?
Rebecca.
She is my middle daughter. So this dish is a very old dish. It comes from the Indian word chilaquilitl, and every household has a variety of this. So there are literally hundreds of varieties of this recipe. We'll be showing you a vanilla version that you can actually adapt, add, remove. But this is the basis of the red chilaquiles. There's white, there is brown, and so forth. So in this recipe, what are we going to be using, Susan?
So for the base of our recipe, we're using tomatoes and chilies, but we will cook those, and we've already done that here to make it go faster. But we're also going to be using about a tablespoon of olive oil once we have the salsa all together. Here we have salt to taste, 2 tablespoons of garlic, 2 tablespoons of chicken-like seasoning, and about 1/4 of an onion. And then for garnish, we have avocado, sour cream, and refried beans.
The origin of this recipe is that people had tortillas, and these tortillas, as they got older, people wanted to do something with them. So what they did, they cut them in pieces, and this was the base of this recipe. We using already chips for sake of speed, but you can also put some tortillas in an oven there overnight for a few hours, and that will dry the tortilla, and you can cut it and also use it in this recipe. So let's get busy on this recipe.
Okay, Eddie, you get to do the pleasure today. You're going to blend this for us.
So,
And once he's got that blended, Rebecca, you're going to give him these 3.
so this is just the chilies and the tomatoes.
Cooked in a little bit of water.
Here.
Thank you. This is also another fast recipe, very quick to make, and my girls really love it. Whenever they find out that they're going to have chilaquiles, everybody gets excited.
Yes. We'll add a few more of the ingredients. We'll be adding the chicken style seasoning and a little bit more of fresh onion and the garlic. If you can.
There you go.
Thank you. Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. And just a little blend, a little bit more. And you can start to smell the nice smell of the onion and of the garlic and the chili.
I'll take that now. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to heat up a little bit of oil, and we're going to cook the salsa. And you will see how fast this recipe is. Thank you. All right. So we're just going to let this cook for a couple of minutes. And while this is cooking, I wanted to tell you about the refried beans. Eddie, where does the name refried beans? Did we fry our beans, or how did that come about?
It comes from the word by the fact that when you have the fresh beans, you used use a little bit of oil, and that process of putting the beans in a little bit of oil, that's where the name refried bean comes from.
Right, so first you have your cooked beans. A lot of times we use pinto beans, and that's very traditional. You can use black beans for this recipe. We used something similar to pinto beans, and so we have the pinto beans here, and they're refried. So we cook the pinto beans, and then we just put them with a little bit of onion and smashed it up. And that's how we have our refried beans, and it tastes very good to eat together with chilaquiles.
Something important here is that when you're using your tomatoes and you cook them, you actually increase the amount of nutrition on them, because the heat breaks down the cells, and that releases the lycopene, and actually the body's able to absorb much more of that lycopene. So it's a good way of increasing your lycopene in your diet. By the way, very good for prostate health.
Once the sauce gets to be a little bit darker red, the only thing left to do is to add your chips. So depending on how much sauce you like, sometimes you like to have more sauce in your chilaquiles. I like to have a bit of sauce on my chilaquiles. That will depend upon how much chips you add. And since these are already prepared chips, we didn't add too much salt to the sauce. We'll just break those in there.
And you want to have you want to serve this quickly, because if you serve this too long, the salsa gets on the chips and then they get soggy and so forth. So I like them when it's cooked and served immediately, because then it's nice and fresh.
That's actually with a lot of recipes in Mexican cooking, isn't it? A lot of them are better served fresh.
Off the pan, that's the way that you usually use them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if you notice, these are ingredients that are available anywhere. You don't have to travel to Mexico to buy these exotic ingredients. This is something that you can find in your local grocery store.
Nice, fresh, and convenient. And it's fast too. Do you like to eat chilaquiles?
I love to eat chilaquiles.
Me too. Me too. All right, so we have our tortillas coated very nicely, our tortilla chips, and the only thing left to do, Rebecca,
Is to eat them.
is to eat them. I think you're right.
So as you can see, very simple recipe, something that you can quickly do, especially in the morning. This is a dish that usually is eaten for breakfast or brunch. And nice, nutritious, together with those legumes, will give you that energy that will help you to have a very good day. Now we're going to cook a very yummy recipe of something that you may not have even think that you can eat, nopales. But for this recipe, we have the help of, what is your name?
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth, my smaller daughter, who is going to be helping us also cook this yummy recipe. So this is called nopales. Nopales is not Nepal, Nepal. It's a different spelling. Nopal comes from an Aztec word, nopali, a very old Indian word from the Americas. And we can find some of these nopales wild here in Australia. This is a photo actually that I took this weekend as I was running around here in Australia. Nopales is that type of cactus that is a pad, okay, and it has little thorns. Now, in the science world, they have described 114 types of different nopales. And this plant has the characteristic that is good to maintain your glucose. It's good for people with diabetes to eat nopales. If you're going to be cooking your own nopales, as you know, it has thorns. Of course, you're not supposed to eat the thorns. Some people, what they do, they put some tape in their fingers, and they grab the nopal and you remove every single one of those thorns. Another tip, if you're going to be using some of the nopales that you find in the wild, make sure that is the thin and that is a young nopal, not the old one. It becomes hard and it's hard to cook, so you want to have nice and tender. Also, to clarify, there is a difference between nopales and cactus. Here we have a cactus. This is not what we are talking about. Okay, in the word cactus comes from the Greek kaktos, and they have described more than 1,700 different species. Yes, nopales is one of those species of this cactus. So you can actually find some of the pre-cooked nopales here in Australia. We went to visit the store and we found some here. Or you can go and find your own. So Susan, what are we going to be using to make this recipe?
Okay, so here we have our cut nopales. These were, as mentioned, these we found already in the store. So these are already cut, cooked, and ready to go for our recipe. We have some chopped tomatoes. We have onion. We have olive oil that we're going to use to saute our onion. And we have a little salt, just salt to taste. We have garlic and we have oregano.
And you know, this is nopales. The Indians in Mexico have been eating nopales for literally thousands of years, which means that there are 100 different types of ways of cooking these nopales. This is just one of them of the multiple ways you can do it.
Now, Elizabeth, does it sound strange to you to eat cactus?
No.
It doesn't sound strange to you. Do you like to eat cactus?
Yes.
Yes, I like to eat it too. You know, I must admit, the first time that I tried it, I thought, oh, it's okay. But now, everybody in our family loves nopales, and usually whenever we cook them, there's none left over. So we're going to just go ahead and saute the onion. And whenever I saute onion, I like just to add a pinch of salt. It helps bring out the flavor. And we'll saute that until it's clear. Yeah, you can go ahead and take that, Elizabeth. Thank you.
And this nopales is something that people eat in Mexico at all times. You can eat it for breakfast, you can eat it for lunch, you can eat it for tea. It's up to you. And the nice thing about nopales is that you can put different flavors and it will capture those flavors.
Yes, it's actually very good to eat together with tofu. As a matter of fact, we eat it with tofu, we eat it with beans, with a variety of things, and we eat it with tortillas too, don't we?
Yes.
In Mexico, the tortilla is something that people eat every single day. They say that the meal is not complete unless there is some tortillas. The Indians had this saying that they used to call it the Three Sisters. The Three Sisters were composed of the pumpkins, the beans, and the corn. So every meal had to have some of that. Then we just added the garlic.
Yeah.
We just added the garlic.
We added the garlic. We're going to add the oregano. We're just going to stir that a little bit. And then we're going to add the tomatoes.
If you notice, all these ingredients are fresh. That's the way that most households will use their ingredients.
And once the tomatoes start to give off their juice, we are ready to add the nopales. Elizabeth, can you give me the nopales, please? Thank you so much. Once I get these in there, you want to help me stir?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Thank you, dear.
And if you're here, you can start to smell the nice flavor of those nopales.
And if you look, you can also see that we have the colors of, and it actually looks like a Christmas dish, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Red, white, and green. Which is the colors of what?
the flag of Mexico.
Yeah. You know, it's a lot of Mexican cooking has very patriotic. It has the colors of the Mexican flag.
And this is something that you can eat by himself, or you can put it together with some rice, you can put it together with some beans. It's a matter of you being creative on how you're going to be presenting this.
And there's also, actually, we don't just eat it cooked like this. We can also use the same ingredients. The Nepali is cooked, but we can use the same ingredients, the tomato, the onion, the garlic, and we can make a Nepali salad, and we would just add a little cilantro to that. Oh, thank you, Felicity.
And you know, I do a lot of research, and plant-based diets are one of the best foods that you can eat. You can find some of my research if you Google the words ResearchGate and Francisco Ramirez. You will come to that page in which there's more than 80 studies in the literature, and they're all free. You can go and access them and learn more about how to take care better of your health.
Well, Eddie, our Nepalis are done. There's only one thing left to do. What's that, Elizabeth?
Taste it.
Yes, you're right.
So these nopales are ready to cook. If you saw, it takes a few minutes and you have a nice complete meal. You will see that when you eat these nopales, you will feel satisfied, and this is the type of food that has low glycemic index, which means that this food would last for a long time inside of you without you being tempted to be snacking and so forth. So, very simple recipe. Please try it in your own home and enjoy this classic Mexican food called nopales. Here's the end result of the dishes that we have been working on. And beautiful, colorful, delicious. As you can see, we have the pico de gallo, and then we have the chilaquiles, and finally we have the nopales. If you notice, every single one of them is garnished with avocado. You don't need to eat it with avocado, but usually a lot of the dishes in Mexico have avocado, since avocado actually came originally from Mexico to all the world. And you can use different varieties. In this case, we're using some chips to accompany some of those dishes. Or you can also use some tortillas, nice warm tortillas together with this. It's another way of eating this. So let us see how these dishes came out. Go ahead, Talita. Let's see. Try your pico de gallo.
That's good. Tastes nice and fresh. Yes.
And what about yours, Rebecca?
Is that good?
Good. And what about yours, Elizabeth?
You like the Nepalis? Good.
So as you can see, healthy food available for everybody.